Hi there, welcome to Sunnyside Journals. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to 30 minutes of my day. Happy Sunday. Let me start my little timer here so that I don't talk too long. There we go. So I am working on these Burgess bedtime stories. And I thought, okay, well, I'll turn the camera on. Just to show you something I do sometimes with laces that are going to be, I think, going to be too bulky. Let me grab one of the ones I'm already done. I've done two of them, and that's why I thought with this third one, I'd turn my camera on. So here we go. Danny Meadow Mouse is done. So I didn't want too much lace, but a little bit of lace is pretty. So I put, in that case, I sort of have the lace a little bit interior, so not in the first signature, on the second, and in this case, because I have 5 signatures, I put it on the second and the fourth signature. And I put it on the first page of the second signature and on the last page of the fourth. Now, something I do is, for some of the laces I have that I find thrifting, in order to get it gathered, because I do like flat lace, I do like gathered lace. In order to get the gathering, sometimes has this sort of, oh, come on, there we go, sort of like a polyester casing around the edge. And I'm quite sure it's because if you're going to have 2 edges to your fabric, you're going to sew it inside like that. If you were going to be making, say, a dress or something that you wanted the lace on, that goes inside. Maybe there's another fabric on the other side, and all you're seeing is the lace. But in our case, when we're making junk journals, we have to deal with this, and it's quite bulky. So what I do is I like to take that off, but sometimes the lace will just fall apart and go flat. So, and if that's the case, and I still want it frilly like this, here's what I do. And it depends on whether the lace will cooperate or not. So there's that too. And sometimes you've got to sort of do a test run and see if the lace will cooperate. So what I did was I simply take out a few stitches of the fabric that's holding the casing on. It can be a little bit fussy. Once you get on a roll, you can just pull this casing right off. In fact, I found this time if I cut them, so see what I mean? This wants to hold that little fold. And what I did was I cut it the length I wanted to. And once you do that, if you find the thread, you can literally just sort of tug the thread out and it'll just all come off, which is what I did. And that's how I ended up with these. So the ruffle is still there. See how it's still got its ruffle. So, and if I sew it on very carefully, I will still have my ruffle, but I won't have the bulk of the casing that was around the edge from when it was intended for, clothing or articles like that. I like this much better, seeing that edge of the lace. So here's what I do. Let's get out signature 2. Now I just feeling out the the papers. I actually came to the conclusion that this paper here would like to be sewn better. So I'm using that one and just flipping these around. So I'm just putting that there like that. So here's 2, and I want it on this edge, so the front page of 2. So what I'm going to do, oh I got this. I better put it back on while I can before it ends up in my foot. I've done that before. There we go. What I do is I use, actually pretty well any glue will work. You just want it to hold, even if it's just for a few minutes, because you're going to run it through your sewing machine, and it's the thread that's going to hold it really well. But in this case, I'm still just going to use 3-in-1. And I'm just going to put, sorry, I've got strands of it here. There. I'm just going to, let me make sure I'm in. Am I in? I am. I'm going to just put a thin strip of 3-in-1 along here. Not too thick, because 3-in-1 does dry shiny. Now, it's not going to show. This is going to be underneath the lace. Otherwise, I would use like a tacky glue or art glitter glue. So I want these ruffles. So I'm just going to lay it on top and just let those ruffles do their thing and just pat it down like this. I don't want it to land in that wet glue. So I'm trying to hold it up and just lay it down on there and pat it down. And you can sort of scrunch it a bit with your finger if it's not quite ruffling the way you want. Just sort of tug it, pull it along, and then pat it back down again, and you'll get your ruffle. There we go. I'm going to let that dry a bit before I trim this off. Now, number 4. Where are you, number 4? Here we go. So I want to go back in and find that brown page. It sews very nicely. So that's the one I want. It's going to be the front page. I'm going to put this one inside. There we go. So I'm just going to put this back here. Boy, I sorted out all the chaos with the tabs on my last video I had with the tab chaos, and I took the time and I put different colors. So now I have pink, and I've got orange, and I got blue for another one. I even had the backs and fronts of the end papers all messed up, and oh my goodness, I think I just tried to do a quick cleanup way too quickly one day, and I didn't take my time. So I'm going to do the same thing here. While number 2 is drying, I'm just going to pat number 4 into place. So again, it's holding that ruffle, and I'm glad about that. So I'm just going to lay it down and pat it in place and encourage that ruffle, and if I have to, I sort of pinch it along. There we go. And then just sort of pat it down. This just looks so much nicer than this bulky casing that's on it. There we go. So that's number 4, and it's going to be on the back. Now let's find this one, because it should be dry by now. I'm just going to trim it. That's not bad, but it is at a bit of an angle, so I am going to take a bit off this way. There. And then I'm going to take a bit off. Oh, come on. Here. This will still get used here or there. I have the others from the other ones. I really mismeasured. But us junk journalers know nothing gets wasted, so it doesn't worry me too much. All right, that looks nice. And then this one. If you wanted to, if you don't have a sewing machine and you just wanted this look, just go ahead and use more of this. Be a little more heavy-handed with it, and you'll do just fine. But I do find that the sewing machine really holds it in place. That's your anchor. You could hand sew it along there, which I've done before too, because it looks really charming. And if you've got a Tim Holtz ruler that has these little holes in here, you can hold it along the edge, poke those holes with a pin, and then go in and sew in and out, and you'll have a really cute hand sewn line right along there. So don't let not having a sewing machine stop you from having a bit of fun with sewing in your journal. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do it on camera because my sewing machine is over there and I don't want to move my camera. I am going to sew these. I want to do a little zigzag stitch. I'm going to put it in the machine this way with the rough side down. When you sew paper, the underside always has those sort of displaced volcano kind of where the paper pokes through. There's always one side that ends up looking really nice and one side that looks a little bit messy. But if you sew it with this side being the nice side, your presentation side, then this side, that lace will camouflage the side that's not always so pretty to look at. I learned that from my crush. Nancy taught me that. So I'm going to go sew these, and I will be back in a jiffy. Okay, so you can see here, this side looks really nice. Oh, come on. That side looks nice, the sewing. And the side that normally would not look nice is buried in all that lace, so it looks pretty. And we've retained our little ruffle without the bulk. Now I'm just going to tie these threads off because I do want them dangly. Oh, sometimes they're too long to deal with. Hold on, let's take this down a little bit. So just tie them off. And then the new owner, if they don't like them, they can trim them. Oh, what have I done? There we go. Alrighty. Boy, I've been having fun trying to decide what Christmas journals I'm going to work on for the Crafty Crush Christmas Summit. Christmas in September. So I think I've got it down to, I think I'm going to do 4 smaller ones. And don't think it's, I'm not necessarily going to get them all done, first off. But second off, 2 of them, I think I've mentioned this. 2 of them I had already started previously. So I sort of have a little bit of a head start. So my goal is to do those. And they're all going to be very similar in style. I think that will help too. That will sort of help me pare down what I think I need to bring as far as papers and, you know, laces and that sort of thing. If they're all very similar, which I foresee. I love doing a beautiful Victorian Dickensy kind of Christmas journal. I just love it. It's my favorite over cutesy or any other kind. I just really love it. Vintage. I don't think I have enough. Maybe I do. Enough stuff to do like a true you know, like a 1940s or 50s, 60s kind. I wonder. I guess I'll have to look. One of them is a journal that I think I started 2 years ago. It's a book called Just Mary Stories, and I have the intention. I was going to say I had the intention. I have the intention of actually having this Christmas journal mostly be focused on Mary, the lady of the big event. So, and I figured, what a beautiful title, Just Mary Stories. And well, Mary's story, that's known worldwide. So, and that's one of the ones that I got started on and never finished. So I will be working on the Christmas book that's about Mary, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got some beautiful things to put in it. Okay, 4. This is 4. And then one I started last year. The book is actually Lorna Doone, but it's a beautiful brown book that I put a little illustration of a sprig of holly on the front. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so these look good. Now I have to work on this center fold in the center of the third signature. I've got to deal with, see how it's too long. I want to fold it and make a tuck spot. Let me show you the tuck spots. Oh, for Pete's sake. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. So right here. I did them both differently, so I'm not sure what I'll do with this one, but I just sort of folded it back. I used a punch along the edge, and now it's just a little tuck spot, and it's got some sewing on it. So that's what I'm going to do here. Let's put Danny back up there. So third signature, let's do it. Make sure I'm still in. I am. All right. So I want to just do a little bit of a little lacy edge along here. There we go. I'm a little bit klutzy with these page edge punches. I get it done, but it's not without it's not without struggles trying to match it up on this side. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. Ah, good, yay! All right, off you come. All this teeny tiny confetti. So little. Come here. There we go. All right, so what I did with the others was I folded the page that has a bit of pattern back onto this side. So it'll look like that. And then this one, I folded it this way. I'm not too worried that they marry up because they're going to be in different parts of the book as far as how big this fold is. That doesn't really matter to me. Now I just need a little piece of paper, and I'm going to do a little bit of ink so that lace shows up. little. It's so nice here today. Oh, the heat and the humidity has broke, and it's just a beautiful day outside. My sweetie pie has been so happy out in the yard working on things. So see what that does? Isn't that's pretty. So, oh, I don't need 3-in-1. I'm just going to use a bit of art glitter glue, I think. Okay. I'm still going to sew it, but I'm just holding it in place with a bit of art glitter glue here. Just to hold it down. There. That looks nice. Now I'm going to, I'm just going to go sew this. So I'm going to pause for a second and I'm going to go do that. Okay. So here we go again. Nope. Better put that back in there. Come on. There you go. Just going to tie these in a knot and leave them alone. Trying to decide what I want to do inside these bedtime books, as far as having fun with some ephemera. I definitely want to have fun with some of my animal fussy cuts. I definitely want to do that, and stamps. So, and I think I should do the stamping before I sew the signatures in. For 2 reasons. It's easier. And second of all, if I mess up too badly, I can just remove that piece of paper and replace it with one that doesn't have a hideous looking stamp on it. So it's strategic, the timing. Okay. I've given myself, there's a loop, a little tangle. And I'm not sure whether it's going to let go or not for me. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, come on. See what it's done? There we go. Oh, I think I sewed through the actual piece of thread. Oh my goodness, what is the likelihood of that? There we go. All right, now I can sew it. Now I can sew that. Now it was paused because I sewed, so I know I've got more time than what my alarm says. Because I didn't pause my timer. I only paused the camera. There. And then here's the displaced paper. Remember how I told you one side's nice and one side looks not so nice? So just use something, bone folder or anything sort of around smooth edge, and push them back in. It still won't be as nice as the one side, but it's much less noticeable when you just push them back in where they belong. There we go. That looks nice. Now, Where was it? There. I like that. Then this is peeking out and looks unusual and a little variety. And then you got a tuck spot on that side. And when you flip over to there, you got a tuck spot there. So that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is Mr. Toad. Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? Where is the... Okay, it's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. I've lost one. Now I know why. It's not a good idea for me to work on multiples of similar journals. I do this to myself. Did I drop it on the floor? Okay, well, I'll find it. It's here somewhere. It's probably inside one of these ones. There's one. There's one. 1, 2. So that one's okay. Here's the text block for Mr. Toad. You're not in there? No, you're not. 1, 2, 3. So you're not there, and you're not there. Are you under here? No, you're not there. Are you under here? No, you're not. Oh, oh, oh. There it is. Found it. Okay, so on that note, let's leave on a high note. What am I at? I'm at 27 minutes. Let me show you what I'm going to do next. And it's, again, it's not all bells and whistles and fireworks making junk journals. Some of it is very, it's just nice and repetitive. And I guess that's why I find it relaxing. I have to poke the holes in, this is the fabric that I'm going to sew the signatures to create a text block. So they're good to go. I just have to, you have to poke a hole through the crosses. So I just use this and in it goes. And I use my trusty gardener's kneeling pad that I got at my dollar store. That's my favorite one for poking the holes in like that. I know I've had a few people ask, you know, if I would show how I sew my signatures. And the first thing I would say to you is go watch Nancy do it. She does a wonderful job. She has several journals on her channel that she has sewn. It's not my forte to do on camera. It's just, I find that if the camera's running, that's when I start getting tangled threads and frustrating, or sewing it in upside down. I have tried, and every time I end up, no, this is not going to be on camera. It's just not. I try and show everything else I do. But trust me, as far as sewing the signatures to this template, I do it the same way Nancy does. And another excellent resource, of course, is Nick the Booksmith. Take one of her courses. She has a bookbinding course. It's very inexpensive. I think it's like $15. So see, those are going to get sewn onto there like that. And then the whole thing gets glued into the cover. Nick the Booksmith's is fantastic because it's online. You can take it at your own pace and you can rewatch it over and over and over and over and over. And she explains so methodically how to do all of this. Go over to Nick the Booksmith's. It's on her webpage, which I think is on her channel. And just take, I mean, you can take any one of her courses. I have done a few of her other courses where you end up making a great big, beautiful book. But she also just does have one on how to bookbind. And it's very good. Or else, you know me, head over to my crush's channel. She won't steer you wrong. She'll show you how to do it. All right. I'm going to get going, and I'm going to finish poking these ones. And I'm going to try and decide what I'm going to stamp and get the stamping done. And maybe if I want any more sewing, I want to get that done too. So take care, and we will talk soon. Have a great rest of your day.